this time.
Are you ready?
This moment!
Ready.
So I'm gonna take his soul.
We ready.
It ain't no doggone tomorrow, fellas!
We ready for y'all.
I wanna see how bad he wants to play.
We ready.
Y'all feel that? Can you feel that thing?
We ready.
That thing is beating in your doggone chest.
We ready.
Now, can you feel that? Can you feel what's about to happen?
Play action. Going for it all into the end zone. Caught. Alshon Jeffrey for the touchdown. Field. LeGarrette Blunt swings to the outside. Inside the 10. Blunt to the end zone.
You want Philly?
And they're going to snap it. And it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles. Touchdown.
Whoa.
Brady gets hit. The ball is out. And Philadelphia has it. Brady under pressure, escapes the sack, launching one for the end zone. It's a jump ball and it's incomplete. And for the Philadelphia Eagles, the long drought is over. Finally.
What's happening, everybody? This is the Philly Experience Podcast alongside Chris Acker, Tanner Martin, and Tyler Hood. I'm your host, Max James. It's great to be with you on this Tuesday, November the 12th. Following a bye week for the Eagles, T.
Yep.
Seems as though you're reminiscing in those Super Bowl memories.
No. Y'all are reminiscing in the Super Bowl memories, all right?
You made the
y'all.
intro.
It's not the point. The point is, y'all always bring up the past. All right, I'm ready to move on.
I mean,
and
so
apparently, Jim Schwartz hasn't also, let go of the fact that he beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl as well. But we'll bring that up during the show.
I mean,
I want y'all to hear this interview a little later.
It's quite a feat.
Yeah. But Brady still throw for over 500 yards. That's a problem.
All right, well, hey, look, listen. We got the bye week this past weekend. We didn't have to worry or stress out about any different teams, except the Cowboys did lose. So now we're tied for a division lead. And their schedule doesn't get any easier ahead, but ours does. We got two tough games ahead, but then our schedule gets much easier after that. So hopefully, we know it's hard. We can get on the right track here, and we got a big one against the Patriots. But we'll talk about that shortly. Talk about little Sixers as well. They had a tough road trip, but they did bounce back against the Hornets on Sunday. I know a majority of us probably missed part of the game because of the football. I don't understand why they have Sunday night games around 6 o'clock, especially because that's like the fourth quarter of the afternoon games on our coast. But, a win is a win. And, Chris, Flyers looking good. 4 straight. Back-to-back W's. They beat the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Boston Bruins in overtime.
Beat Boston in Boston.
No, overtime, both games.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's a little concerning, but
we'll get to that at the end. But
Nobody cares about hockey, Max.
Let's talk about let's talk about this upcoming game against the Patriots. Look, rematch of the Super Bowl. We're at home. Place is going to be going crazy, sold out. Fans are going to be down there super early. Not that they aren't, every week, but this week is going to be a little bit extra. What do you guys think? Can we win this game?
I think we can. I think we can win this game.
without Nick Foles now.
Here we go. Don't start with the Nick Foles crap today. I'm not putting up with it today. I'm not. No. Please. We got our own issues to deal with besides worrying about a quarterback that now plays for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Can we please move on?
Let's go through everybody real quick right now. Chris, do we win?
No.
Tanner?
No, we
Tanner,
don't.
do we win?
Yes.
Say that with a straight face without laughing.
I looked up Vegas odds yesterday, and they said that the Pacers were favored by 3.5. So I say, doggone it, yes.
You think the Eagles win? All right.
I think the Eagles can win.
So you don't think they are going to win?
I'm gonna put a W on my prediction schedule.
Let me ask you something. All right, it's me. I have a question.
All right.
Okay. Are you going to beat the Patriots by stopping Tom Brady?
Personally, I'm not going to beat the Patriots, but the Philadelphia Eagles can beat the Patriots.
You know what? I don't need you to be smart with me, buddy.
How different? Let's talk about how different this defense is from Super Bowl 52.
Let's talk about how predictable this defense is.
We're down Chris Long,
Patrick Robinson.
Patrick Robinson, who was a big piece of that defense. Who else?
I almost said Jordan Hicks. No, not Jordan Hicks.
No one
Jordan
really.
Hicks was hurt.
No one really that big that
but
I can think of.
Your defensive coordinator doesn't seem to think there's much of a difference. I want y'all
That's
to
what I'm
listen to
saying.
this. I want y'all to listen to this interview from yesterday, and I want y'all to Larry.
Have they changed anything, or are they basically status quo with the infrastructure they have?
Yeah, it is. It is. We were last week watching our Super Bowl game, and a lot of their scheme stuff has stayed the same, and obviously the quarterback has stayed the same, but there has been significant, turnover.
What? Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait. No, okay, sorry. You say your thing.
Yeah. If you're preparing to face the New England Patriots, the 2019 New England Patriots, by looking back at a 2018 Super Bowl victory in which your defense gave up 500 plus yards to Tom Brady. Are you kidding me?
Okay, yeah, that's really bad. And
That's a problem.
Bill Belichick is known for changing things. They're not going to run the same whatever against the Eagles as they
I just
did
wanted to point
in the
out
Super Bowl.
we are missing a few linebackers from that team, and Jordan Hicks. And Michael Kendricks.
Jordan Hicks was out for the year.
Well, yeah, but Michael Kendricks has also made a resurgence in Seattle, and he was a part of that team as well. And we could use him. Not going to lie, we could use him right now.
Dude, please tell me he's not serious.
He's serious.
They're studying the Patriots by watching their Super Bowl
In which they were not that successful. In which the defense still got lit up like a Christmas tree.
Dude,
there was less coverage out there than a Sprint phone service. All right?
Wow.
Wow. All right, well, there's one less potential sponsor.
Here's what's going to happen.
We know it's hard.
Sorry.
We're going to go into the game. The Patriots are going to know exactly our plays. They're going to know exactly what we're doing. And then at halftime, we're going to have to fix ourselves.
Do you know who's laughing about this more than us?
Yeah.
Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look at the Super Bowl from almost 2 years ago. Do it. I dare you. Oh, my.
They're a great team, and I have a hard time believing that they're going to lose 2 in a row.
Watch.
Okay, I understand.
Coming off a bye week.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand where, from an offensive standpoint in terms of the Patriots, that their offensive line has been up and down, and their offensive line is in shambles. But here's the thing. These corners really ain't worth 2 cents. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say it right now. These corners straight up ain't. All right? They not. Seriously. Because they're going to play off like they always do. They're going to play 5 to 7 yards off. The same thing they did in the Super Bowl. And guess what? That's going to give Julian Edelman and all those little quick receivers free release to do what they want to do. So Brady's going to get the ball out of his hands in 2 seconds. And because our corners aren't really fast enough or talented enough to make the tackle by themselves in the open field, there's going to be plenty of 10, 15, 20-yard plays.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
coming back.
Listen, they don't really have a burner on the outside that I'm too worried about, so I don't think this is going to come down to our cornerback play. I mean, I get Julian Edelman, but he's more of a slot guy. I'm more focused on James White and Sony Michel in the backfield because James White is a great pass catcher, and he can line up in the slot as well.
I
and
hear you.
Sony Michel, he's been their bell cow all season. When their running game is going well, they run him about, 25 maybe 20 times a game.
Don't forget Rex Burkhead.
Yeah, I mean, they just rotate backs in and out, and their offensive line's still good, and they have arguably the best defense in the league. Now, that was, questionable this past weekend.
I was about to say, Lamar
2
Jackson.
weekends ago when they,
I was about to say,
they lost to Baltimore. But
Lamar Jackson exposed that defense, which, by the way...
Well, he exposes every defense. I mean, throughout the first 7 weeks, though, you look at the Patriots defense, they were tops in every category.
I'm saying this right now because I said it in the beginning of this season. I'm going to say it again. Put some respect on Lamar Jackson's name, doggone it. Put some respect on that man's name.
I have.
MVP this year. I'm saying it right now.
This is me kind of...
Wow, you're really going out on a limb there, too.
Dude. Shut up. Shut up. All right? Shut up.
Lamar Jackson almost looks like the best quarterback from that draft.
Yeah.
So far.
I can't believe he fell to 32nd overall.
Yep. Yeah. This is me kind of putting on a tinfoil hat here. Do you think Jim Schwartz is putting on a show?
I hope he is.
We're definitely looking at the Super Bowl from almost 2 years ago.
Oh, please.
No, he better be studying this year.
I agree.
Better be.
Listen, we don't hear Jim Schwartz talk too much. At least I don't personally. But when you hear something like that, it's just you're scratching your head. Like,
That perplexes me. That disturbs me. I'm disturbed. Like
I would go back and watch the Ravens tape from 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
What did the Ravens do in order to disrupt the Patriots?
Yes.
Because both sides of the ball for the Patriots, they weren't neither side was playing well.
No.
Their defense couldn't stop Lamar, and Tom Brady looked like he struggled a little bit.
Yes, he did. He did not look like the Tom Brady of old. He looked like a 50-year-old Tom Brady. He looked old. He looked like he was at the end of his career.
Hopefully he ages a lot more over the next 5 days.
I agree. I completely agree because no, please. I really hope Jim Schwartz is kidding when he says that.
Yeah,
I really truly hope that he's looking back at the tape from this year. Please don't tell me you're preparing to face the Patriots, in which you are 5-4. You're tied in the division with the Cowboys. You have the potential to leap the Cowboys. And you're going to go back and look at tape from a Super Bowl win in which your defense did absolutely nothing and got lit up.
That's like studying for a medical exam with medical documents from 1920.
I think if we can
split
split Seattle, New England, we put ourselves in good position because I know that the Cowboys have the Detroit Lions coming up this weekend with probably a backup quarterback in Jeff Driscoll instead of Matt Stafford, so
it sucks.
Their odds of winning that game are probably in their favor pretty well. But after that, they got a couple tough games, and I think even if we lose to the Patriots, if we can beat Seattle, who again look like another juggernaut after last night beating San Fran.
They do. I said that they were going to be a problem, especially coming out of the NFC West, because they have to compete with the 49ers as well. I mean, I agree with you, Max, and we talked about that last week, in which if you can go through this 2-game series and you can at least split these 2 games, I'm not expecting them to win both, but you need to split. And me personally, I would rather beat the Seahawks, but that looks like probably it's not going to happen.
Well, you're talking MVP Lamar Jackson. I'm talking Russell Wilson MVP.
Yeah, and that's why I said it's not going to happen. Russell Wilson has been playing out of his mind, and these receivers that Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. Which, by the way, still irritates me, the fact that we have a second-round wide receiver that hasn't seen hardly seen the field. That's a problem.
Agreed. Yeah, I remember late in the fourth quarter last night, I was going to text in the group chat, Russell Wilson, unstoppable force, and then right as I was about to send it, he throws that interception. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to have to delete
But don't worry.
You big dummy.
But then Jimmy Garoppolo, who he fumbled multiple times last night. I mean,
so nervous under pressure.
Yeah, he looks uncomfortable in the pocket. Now, the game plan, I guess, was pretty solid. I mean, they do run the ball a lot, San Francisco, and they were without George Kittle for the whole game, and Emmanuel Sanders got hurt on the first 2 possessions of the game, I think, early in the first quarter. So the 2 playmakers that were out, Deebo Samuel, stepped up well for them. Mm-hmm. It was a really good game. It was one of the best games I've seen all season long.
It was a very entertaining game. But
electric.
But it's funny that, when Jimmy lost his weapons, that you've seen a different Jimmy Garoppolo. You've seen a Jimmy Garoppolo that wasn't as confident and that wasn't really, as comfortable throwing the football as we've been used to seeing.
Those line plays, especially San Fran's D versus Seattle's O-line, I thought Seattle's O-line, held their own for the most part. I mean, early in the game, they got there a lot because they just bull rushed through the middle. Nick Bosa and those guys, DeForest Buckner, really just busted right through the middle and got to Wilson. But as the game went on, I felt like that changed. Either they got fatigued or Seattle made an adjustment at halftime or something. But, man, they went back and forth. And the kickers, I really thought Jason Myers was going to miss because, he's had a track record of missing over 40-yard field goal attempts. Yep. But, again, with Robbie Gould being out for the San Francisco 49ers, we knew that would probably play a factor in the game. And it was pretty entertaining to watch.
Oh, it was very entertaining to watch. But, going back to the weapons thing and how it relates to the Eagles, and that's the reason why it's a problem for this team not to have any kind of playmaking receivers. Like, okay, everybody moaned.
Jordan Matthews.
Yeah, we'll get into that later.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody.
Chris, oh, yeah.
Everybody moaned and complained when last year Zach Ertz was getting all the targets. But it was successful.
It was predictable, too.
It was predictable, but it was successful and it was working. Where now, they're not game planning now to involve Ertz heavy, and now look what's going on. The offense is struggling. And let's be honest here, Alshon Jeffrey doesn't look like the Alshon Jeffrey that we're used to, all right? We had to go out and sign Jordan Matthews, which for Wentz is a reliable target. and only for Wentz has he been a reliable target. Because Nelson Aguilar is not playing like a receiver like we expected him to. Mac Hollins hasn't stepped up. And J.J. Arcega-Whiteside can't hardly see the field.
That's exactly what we need, though. We need more Carson Wentz confidence. And with Jordan Matthews coming back, he knows this guy. They're friends.
I agree.
They remember the
we'll be
handshake?
more confident.
Remember the handshake?
Yeah, the tie.
Handshake? Yeah.
Yep.
We got to work on a handshake.
Hopefully that comes back this weekend. We like to see that a couple times, maybe in the end zone,
Especially against the New England Patriots.
So do you just take Nelson off the field and just put Matthews in the slot?
I think
him on.
I was about to say, I think what's going to happen is they're going to put Nelson Aguilar on the outside, and they're going to put Jordan Matthews in the slot.
Oh, boy.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Oh, boy.
I mean, at least Nelson Aguilar, every once in a while, will catch a ball.
Listen, I like whatever. We need to make changes. Sign Matthews back. He had a couple good, runs in an Eagles jersey. So we'll see if it works out. Hopefully, he gets a few targets and does what he can with them.
But I'll tell y'all something, one thing that I think that the Philadelphia offense should do, and that is during the second half of this season, they need to ride the backs of Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders. They need to rely heavy on those two on offense because this offensive line, they are some dogs. They are some road graders. They love putting all defensive linemen on their behinds, man, and I love it. One thing an offensive lineman loves to do, offensive linemen love going forward. They love showing how dominant they are opposed to the opposing defensive line. And if they can show off their power, oh, man, we got problems on our hands. We have an awesome run game, and we're not utilizing it to its full advantage.
We're not putting both of them out on the field together still. I haven't seen that yet.
We've only seen it one again time. And the one time that we did see it, it was Miles Sanders' biggest touchdown run of his career. So why not? I want to see more 21 personnel. I want to see more 2 backs, 1 tight ends out there on the field. I want to see Zach Ertz out there in the slot. I want to see 2 wide receivers out there. I want to see Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard in the backfield at the same time. I want to see that.
I want to see a big Jordan Howard game, and hopefully Wentz just makes enough plays to get us to a W based on the fact that he doesn't really have too many weapons around him. And thinking about it, we know Deshaun's injured, but other than that, he doesn't really have any other excuses, or the Eagles don't really have any other excuses, and we're not missing anybody else.
No.
And that's, looking ahead in the offseason, there's a lot of question marks.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a lot of question marks. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to catch heat for this.
Uh-oh.
But last night, Brandon Brooks signed an extension. Now, don't get me wrong. Brandon Brooks is probably playing his best ball I've seen in his career. I'm not doubting that, and I'm not doubting the fact that he doesn't deserve a raise. But here's where we get into the problem that which we discussed before about keeping players way too long. This man is 30 years old. Now, yes, I did not think he was going to play this year coming off of a torn Achilles. I honestly didn't. I thought we weren't going to see him at all. He is playing his ass off, and that surprises me. But to extend him for 4 years, he's 30 years old. 30 years old, which means by the end of this contract, he's going to be 34. And we're paying him all this money. Now, yes, he's having a dominant year this year, but let's not to say that maybe 2 years down the line, he starts playing like crap, and now we're stuck in a contract again.
So, yeah, I agree with you 100%. Coming off the Achilles injury, I know he's been great, but again, $30 million guaranteed for a right guard. I know the O-line play is very important, but
sick of this.
That is a lot of money to guarantee to a guy coming off an injury like that. And he isn't as athletic as, say, like a Jason Kelce, who at age 34 is playing well. He's athletic enough to keep up his, Pro Bowl type level. And I don't know if Brandon Brooks, by the time he gets to be 34, is going to be athletic enough to, keep up his production like he is right now.
And that's my thing, man. That's my whole thing. Because now, even when I think about it, Kelsey's been pretty average this year. I mean, Kelce will have his moments, but then there's times where I'll look back at the tape and I'll see Kelce get completely ran over or look completely lost.
Sometimes
and
you
not
just overmatched.
I have noticed that a lot this year.
Yes.
With Jason Kelce.
Yeah,
it's like, oh crap, do I go here? Do I go there? I've noticed that a lot.
It's funny because I challenged Chris, because usually when people watch football games, they just watch where the ball goes, they watch quarterback, they watch the wide receivers. I challenged Chris. I said, for a couple games, don't watch the ball. Watch the offensive defensive lineman. It is some of the most entertaining stuff that you will ever see. Yeah. Seriously, it's more action in the trenches than it is with the ball in the air. I'm telling you, that's fact. Dude, And the fact that you're pointing that out,
it pisses me off. Well, it doesn't piss me off. It makes me notice how bad some players are.
Oh yeah,
like holy moly!
You can easily tell.
Andrew Santejo.
Ooh, glad he's gone. That's all I got to say.
That was brutal.
Oh gosh,
back on the
not
Vikings.
your cup of tea.
No, he's not. Not at all.
I haven't made that joke in a long time. Moly.
I can't wait for the upcoming draft to see these college stars finally come out. You know, did anybody check in that LSU Alabama game over the weekend?
Say that word again. College.
College?
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
Yeah, that was a great game.
College.
LSU Alabama was a great game.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Two future quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, going up against each other. Should be high picks. Now, I think that if the Eagles can finally have a good draft for once, puts us in a good spot for years to come as far as not having to worry about maybe the Redskins and the Giants as much. If we can just draft a couple good players, that can put us up there with the Cowboys for the division, and they're not even that great this season.
For me,
you said the Cowboys aren't great this season?
Yeah, 5-4 record.
Whoa!
This is
we piece of Swiss cheese.
From last week.
They haven't been great. You know, watching that Vikings game, you look at their flaws.
Different from last week.
Yeah, they lose a couple.
He's not even wearing his Cowboys jersey anymore.
Zeke has finally been bottled up the past few weeks. Even in that Giants game on Monday night, he did run for over 100 yards, but he didn't factor into the passing game. And Amari Cooper better get paid because that man is a difference maker.
Okay, what happened to that PSA from like 2 or 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, whoa. The PSA was that the Cowboys were better than the Eagles, not that the Cowboys were a great football team.
No, it was the Cowboys are a great football team.
I didn't say the Cowboys were great.
You did say watch out for them Cowboys.
Yes, I did say watch out for them.
Watch out for Dak. Watch out for Zeke. I remember.
But watching this Vikings game last week really opened up some question marks.
Weird when they play a good defense.
No. That's what happens when you shut down the one aspect, the one strength of that offense, and that is the run game. If you shut Zeke down, you make Dak throw that football.
Well, Dak still had a good game.
Dak still had a good game, but Dak threw up a couple of ducks that should have been picked off.
Well, yeah.
He threw up. Dak will throw you ducks that if you don't take advantage of them, he will take advantage of you.
Well, if I had wheels, I'd be a wagon.
What? What?
Ifs and buts. Look, he didn't throw picks though.
He didn't throw picks, but he threw up ducks.
That's the point. He didn't.
He's still got a lot of targets out there to catch the ball.
Yeah, he sure does.
He's got Jarwin. Who people kind of forget about sometimes.
Michael Gallup.
He's got Michael Gallup. He's got Randall Cobb, Amari Cooper. He's got a lot of people out there catching the ball.
There's only one team coming out
Randall
of the
Cobb had
NFC
20
East.
fantasy points this week, Chris.
Well,
listen.
I dropped him because he was questionable and he was getting 6 points and 4 points for me, all right?
There's only one team coming out of our division, and it has to be the division winner because the Seahawks, the Niners, the Packers, the Vikings, they're all better than we are.
Yeah.
One of those teams is going to win their division. The other one's going to be the wild card. It's pretty much locked up already.
Said that.
We need to win the division, and that Dallas game in Philly,
it's going to
be something else.
Game. Now back to what you were saying about contracts and them needing to pay Amari Cooper. I seen a report out that said that the Cowboys and Dak Prescott are heading towards a franchise tag because they couldn't get an agreement done. Because the deal is, I think they still said that Dak Prescott wants to get paid more than Carson Wentz, which he has an argument of case for. I personally believe he's not worth that much money.
I personally don't either. I agree, but he does have an argument for it, and that's what it comes down to in negotiations.
Yeah, he has a strong argument for it. And here's the thing: so they paid Ezekiel Elliott in the offseason. Now you have two big contracts that you have to look forward to. You have to figure out somehow, some way, how you're going to pay your franchise quarterback. And then on top of that, Amari Cooper's about to be going too.
Well, listen, if you're keeping Dak, you better keep Amari Cooper because he needs the weapons around him. Any quarterback does. If you get rid of Amari Cooper, your number one wide receivers, then Michael Gallup with an aging Randall Cobb and an old Jason Witten.
But here's
downhill.
Here's where I'm going to challenge you with that. Here's where cap money comes in. If I were a GM, I would pay Dak Prescott. I would let Amari Cooper walk.
Wow.
But I would draft a wide receiver. Reason being, I don't have the money. That's the whole thing.
But you have a franchise tag.
But that franchise tag takes up $20+ million of the cap.
You want to
just by himself.
So you want to let a player like Amari
I
Cooper
don't
walk?
want to let a player like Amari Cooper walk, but because of cap reasons, because I have I paid a running back close to $100 million.
All of your offensive line is pretty locked up, though. It's not like you have to worry about the trenches.
And that's another thing too, that I paid a lot of money for this big, huge offensive line. I don't have the money to keep an Amari Cooper.
You have to keep an Amari Cooper.
So you think a player like that, Prescott, you think he's a rare player?
I don't think he's a rare player, but because quarterbacks are few far in between, they're going to prioritize Dak Prescott more than they are a receiver.
Dak Prescott, we all can agree that Dak Prescott is good, right?
I agree.
We all can agree that he's a good
maybe
Chris,
a little above average.
Definitely a top 15 player.
He's
quarterback.
15 quarterback?
Top 15 quarterback there.
All right, so we can all agree that he's a good player. But again, every quarterback needs weapons around him.
Number
and
15.
Letting Amari Cooper walk, it would be like letting Ertz just walk in free agency and losing.
That's absurd.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm just glad. Well,
correct.
first of all, I'm not a Cowboys fan, so I wouldn't care if you're my GM. But I'm just saying, go ahead and be the Cowboys GM.
Destroy them.
I just have to think about this from an analytical standpoint of view and a money-wise standpoint.
Go in there like Chip Kelly.
Yeah, just destroy everything and get rid of everybody because I'm chipped off.
All right,
on it.
since we're off the top of the Eagles and you were talking about MVP Lamar Jackson, I have a few stats that I found interesting.
Okay.
In first 16 career starts, Lamar Jackson had 13 wins. Patrick Mahomes had 12. Rushing yards, Lamar in his first 16 games, LaDainian Tomlinson had 1,236. Lamar Jackson, 1,258.
Wow.
Rushing yards. Passing ratage, 94.4. Tom Brady, 90.1 in first 16 games.
Wow.
Lamar Jackson.
Are you kidding me?
7.6 yards per attempt. Aaron Rodgers, 7.5. Lamar Jackson, 63%. Drew Brees, 61%. This is the first 16 career games for each person I said. So MVP, Lamar Jackson?
Definitely MVP. You got to look at it, too. Look at the weapons he has around him, right? He doesn't have that many. We don't look at big-time names. He has Mark Andrews, his tight end, has been great this season. But Hollywood Brown, who has been hurt a lot of the time, he had a couple, maybe like 2 big games, but other than that, hasn't been
super consistent.
Yeah, he did. But again, hasn't been super consistent all season long. But I think the only thing you can do as a defense is just have a spy on him. Hopefully, have a very fast linebacker because
I was
how quick
about
he
to
is.
say he better be a fast spy.
But again, you can't let him just go run like a video game mode. You have to at least try to contain him. And if he's going to beat you with his arm, he's going to beat you with his arm. But the thing that makes him so deadly is his legs. Man, he can just get out and sometimes just an automatic run, making spin moves, making moves we see from receivers. And I'm not talking like any given receiver. I'm talking about Odell type moves and things like that.
I've said this. I said this since he was drafted. I said, man, if he develops at least some kind of accuracy, he can be a right-handed Michael Vick. I said that when he was drafted, and it's literally coming to fruition. The way he's throwing the ball. If you guys look back and look back at the way Michael Vick throws that football and compare it to how Lamar Jackson throws it, it's almost identical. It's scary.
Yeah.
And then the moves, the quickness, the speed. It's unlike anything I've seen since Michael Vick.
I haven't seen it.
And honestly, after Michael Vick retired, I thought I would never see another player like Michael Vick. But here he is.
I haven't
Lamar
seen
Jackson.
it with so few around him. Like we're talking about starting guys like Willie Snead on the outside and things like that.
Yes.
And they're still dominating majority of the games.
Yes.
I mean, the Bengals are a joke.
Stupid.
But still, I mean, geez, they just dropped like 50 points like it was nothing.
And then I don't think you can't just poo-poo the fact that they beat the New England Patriots. They didn't just beat the New England Patriots. They beat them soundly.
Yeah,
convincingly.
Yeah.
They beat them from the first quarter to the end of the fourth.
Listen, speaking about great quarterbacks, I want to bring up this other question to you guys. Are the Kansas City Chiefs overrated?
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah. Really?
They should be way better this season. I don't know what's going on.
We've had this conversation before about how we don't think mentally Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback. We've had this conversation before.
Patrick Mahomes is good.
Yeah,
he's great. Good.
He's more than great.
But I think he's just a quarterback with a strong arm with the fastest receiver in the league.
He's smart. He knows
and
what
the
he's
best
doing.
tight end.
I was about to say he's
But
highly intelligent.
6-4 doesn't reflect the kind of talent this team has.
Well, they can start by getting themselves a running back.
They can start getting themselves a defense.
They tried that with LaShawn.
Their defense,
LaShawn
it's
was-
not great, T, but it isn't the worst in the league.
They have I can arguably say their defense is like us, but they have a better pass rush. Their corners ain't worth two cents.
They're back.
Their secondary is horrible.
Well, look at what Ryan Tannehill was ripping them to shreds. That tells you something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty bad.
Ryan Tannehill, who was a backup quarterback for the Tennessee Titans, who took over the job for Marcus Mariota, goes in and beats the Kansas City Chiefs. Are you kidding me?
Listen,
right
they're
now?
running a tandem of Damian Williams and LaShawn McCoy in their backfield. So
And LaShawn McCoy was a healthy scratch this past Sunday due to the fact that
load management.
Man, that wasn't load management.
They said that it was a scheduled rest day. Last week he didn't get any carries because of the fumble a couple weeks ago.
I was
on
about
Thursday
to
night.
say
But they came out and actually said that they want to rest him for the playoffs. But now they're 6-4.
That's BS.
So the Chiefs, they lose to the Colts. The Texans, they lose 2 in a row, the Colts and the Texans. And then they lose to the Packers and the Titans.
They're lucky they play
still have the Chargers
weak
twice,
division.
Raiders, Patriots. Don't really worry about the Broncos or probably even the Bears anymore, honestly. The Bears are just falling apart each week.
Done.
Embarrassing.
Bears are done.
I predict them for the Super Bowl.
I would like to thank the 2019 Chicago Bears for participating in the 2019 NFL season.
Mid-season Super Bowl predictions. What is it?
That Oakland Raiders game is going to be interesting because Oakland, Kansas City in a couple weeks.
That's
whenever
not a
that
Super
game
Bowl.
is.
That's impossible.
That's going to be
Raiders are a good team.
It's shaping up to be a good
I was
game.
about to say, the Raiders have been
And
surprisingly good this year.
Imagine if they had Antonio Brown still.
Yeah, jeez.
Imagine if they had
just
Khalil
imagine.
Mack. Imagine if they had Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper.
Now that, yes. If John Gruden wasn't such the arrogant...
They could win a division with those guys. Like, I don't understand. I get they have, with 3 first-round picks in this upcoming draft or something like that. But, again, that would be something else if they still had those guys. But, hey, listen, they're a good team. They just beat the Chargers. And that Thursday night game Rivers looked horrible.
Yes, he did.
Finally showing his age.
Man.
Yeah,
just
I don't know what's going on
like
with Rivers.
8 straight passes of just garbage passes.
Yeah,
He should have had 5 interceptions in that.
I
game.
agree.
Just
Some of them got
throwing
called
the
back.
ball up there. At least check down once in a while.
Right. Like, he's always looking for the deep ball. But that's
It's
always...
like he had his helmet on backwards.
That's always been how Phillip Rivers played, man. He's always been a gunslinger. He's always been a guy that was going to take chances. But now he doesn't have that same arm strength anymore because that age is showing at this point.
Yo, I'll tell you one thing.
Poor Phillip Rivers, man.
Melvin Gordon looks like he's back. He looks like he's back. He's getting 20 carries a game now, and he's putting together just some solid rushing yards and getting into the end zone here and there. So at least that's good for him. He's been
He's helping out your fantasy team.
well,
Yeah.
finally drafting him high in the rounds is finally paying off for me.
All right, let's talk upsets that happened this past week 10.
I mean, you can go. The list is long. So.
Yes,
The
it
Dolphins beat the Colts.
is-
That was pretty
Man.
surprising.
Well, hold on. Ryan Hoyer,
It's funny
the
to
third
me, too.
stringer,
Correct.
started, and they didn't really hit T.Y. Hilton
but
was
still,
out.
the Dolphins gave their whole team away, and
Yeah.
they're still
I
playing. They
get
won
it,
2 in a row.
But again, it was a close game, and I'm not as crazy surprised that it happened.
What about the Falcons beating the Saints?
I was
Now,
surprised.
That
game
shouldn't have happened. I don't know who put the money on the Falcons, but they are some rich
That was
cats
in
that-
New Orleans.
And then the Browns go and prove that the Bills were overrated.
Yeah, that
don't know
was
if that's
that was
an
an
upset.
upset. No, I think it wasn't. The line, I think Buffalo's favor. So technically,
it was an upset.
It was an upset.
That's an upset.
But that's not like a ridiculous.
It's
I wouldn't say
numbers wise, it's an upset.
I tell you what
Yes.
surprised me though. Kareem Hunt put up some good production his first game back.
did.
So
He did.
Chubb still got the load though.
yeah, 20 carries.
So yeah, Chubb's gonna get the load for right now because he's been playing all this year, and they still got to get Kareem Hunt back. in
Yeah,
the
it was
game
his
shape,
first
so.
game back. But
then-
Buffalo's defense is pretty good. But Baker finally made a few plays again.
Finally, it looked like a football play.
That one possession they had 9 plays within the 2-yard line and they
about
couldn't
damn
score.
time.
And I get they're 3-6 now, but
Yeah, they got 3 wins.
we'll see. They got the Steelers on Thursday Night Football.
And then we talked about the Titans beating the Chiefs
Yep.
already. And this was an upset because the Cowboys were favored. The Vikings, even though they beat us weeks ago, they go ahead and help us out by beating the Cowboys. And they give us a chance at first in the NFC East.
Yep. And that's the thing. The Philadelphia Eagles need to take advantage of that aspect because, I'm going to be honest with you. The NFC East ain't crap this year. Okay? We're not. We suck. Every team in the NFC East stinks. All right, now we're not New York Giants, Washington Redskins stink.
New York Giants aren't even that bad this season compared to how they've been playing.
Yeah, you know who's bad? The Jets. They are terrible.
The Jets are bad, and they still beat the Giants.
Yeah.
That's
that
crazy.
Was that
now that's crazy.
That was crazy. And
I was in
Jameson
New York
Crowder
when
all
that
of a
was
sudden.
happening.
Really? We'll call that a flush because they both stink.
Barely any Jets jerseys, let me tell you that.
What were you doing up in New York? Just hanging out?
Hanging out, you know, walking around the city.
Average day
There you go.
in the life of Tanner Martin.
Yep. One's a goat and one's name's Tom Brady.
Listen, I just want to talk to you guys about how I believe this game is important. Well, every game is important. I should say that, but this game is extra important because I just feel like Seattle's a loss. I just feel like they're just better than us from top to bottom in every single category. But I think we have a better opportunity of beating the Patriots. I know that sounds crazy, but I think this is a game we need to win.
I agree.
I want the Philly crowd to just be crazy.
They will.
Trust me, they will.
No, more like, you know how
like playoff type
not
atmosphere.
in Philadelphia think we are. That's what I want.
Oh, come on.
You want a playoff type atmosphere?
It's going
to be
Blasphemous.
It's going. Whenever the Patriots come to town, the Cowboys, the Giants, it's a playoff atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want that
Because that game,
it
you
better
want them to win even more when they're
But
playing
I also
those teams.
feel like a lot of Philadelphia fans are kind of feeling the way we are.
I would feel so
We're
much
like-
better if we can just win this game and then we expect the loss in Seattle or against Seattle. You know,
Right.
so if we were to somehow magically win both of these games, I know it sounds ridiculous saying it because no one expects us to, but man, I'm fired up. This is going to be a fun couple weeks.
I think the strategy going into this New England game should be to ride the backs of your running backs like you've been successfully doing. But on defense, you've got to change up your scheme. I understand that you don't want to get beat over the top, but the Patriots aren't a team that goes over the top. They like quick passes.
That's what I'm saying.
quick
We take
intermediate
advantage of
passes.
that.
So what do? Tell your corners to press. Man up. Mano y mano. All right, put your hands on the receiver. You can do whatever you want to a receiver, but hold him within 5 yards.
Yep. Listen,
Whoop, they behind.
T,
I want them to deliver this
you
at the line of scrimmage.
To asses.
You
Every play.
say this every episode, and the reason you say it every episode is because they don't do it, because that's not what Jim Schwartz does.
Chris, that's a good point.
Chris has a good point, but this is the week where you kind of need to change up your strategy. And please, let's not go back and watch the 2018 Super Bowl victory.
Listen,
Technically,
Sony Michel is a good running back, but he's been inconsistent this year. And they have like guys on the outside like Philip Dorsett, no big time names, right? You have to worry about Julian Edelman and James White majority, and obviously they have Tom Brady and a good O-line. But listen, you look forward to that Seattle game. DK Metcalf, Josh Gordon, Chris Carson, a great running back in the backfield. Russell Wilson, arguably up there with Lamar Jackson for MVP. A great defense led by Clowney and Bobby Wagner.
Yep.
You have really no shot of winning that game.
You don't.
You're just going to lose. This week,
Oh, boy.
if we can take advantage of the weak receivers that the Patriots have besides Edelman, I think we have a better shot at winning.
I agree. But you need to take it like we keep reiterating.
Take advantage. Yep.
Please take advantage of it. Do not lose to the Patriots. This is a Patriots team you can beat.
Yes, I agree.
This is a Patriots team you can take advantage of. Please take advantage of it. Please watch the film from the Baltimore Ravens game.
We got to
and
play
not the Super Bowl.
our best game of the season.
Yes.
Definitely.
I need my pass rushers to be active. I need y'all to hit Tom Brady like y'all have never hit him before.
All right,
Please.
let's jump into some basketball topics here real quick.
Whoa. Before we switch over, I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited about this offseason. There will be a couple quarterbacks moving around.
Why are you looking
Next
ahead
season.
to the offseason?
I'm excited.
Hey, can we save this for February?
No. There's quarterbacks on the move. Cam Newton, Marcus Mariota, Andy Dalton, probably going to be on the move this
Andy
offseason.
Dalton.
They're horrible except for Cam, and he's hurt. We don't even know who he's going to
Cam
come back.
Newton replaced by Kyle Allen. So he's drafted number
Solid.
1, 2011.
Yeah,
2011 Rookie of the Year.
You know what? Shout out to Kyle Allen. He gave his heart and soul on
He
that
did.
field in Green Bay
He
and came down to
did.
the last play of the game, and Green Bay was able to sneak it out at home. But Christian McCaffrey, again, stopped at the 1, but he had a great game. And Olsen had a resurgence for a game there. Kyle Allen played really well.
Yes, he did.
In the snow.
Yes. Let me tell you guys something. Playing in
Well,
the snow is
before
not the
you go
easiest thing
on,
to do.
T. Cam Newton is a 2015 MVP.
Yeah, we know.
3-time Pro Bowler. He's 3-4 in the playoffs. and he was in the Super Bowl in 2015.
Are you sure?
What team do you think? Well, he was barely in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Denver Broncos.
He didn't dive on that ball. Do you think there's a team that Cam Newton would go to?
Denver Broncos.
Not the Bears? Not the Bears?
Broncos.
The Broncos.
You know what? That's interesting.
The Broncos are a quarterback away from being a playoff team,
They
in my
are.
opinion.
They are. They still have the pieces around.
They have
still-
Cortland Sutton, good wideouts.
Yep.
You know.
You got Phillip Lindsay. You got a pretty decent back
Well, they
there.
did trade Emmanuel Sanders. I forgot about that. But
I mean, yeah, but
They-
they can easily rebuild.
two good running backs,
receivers.
Royce Freeman and Philip Lindsay, a good defense still.
Yes, they still have a solid defense.
Yeah.
They still have solid.
By
Pieces
the way
around
the
them.
Broncos go, by picking up a player like Joe Flacco, I think they'll pick up Andy Dalton. I think they'll get, not pick him up, but I think they'll get Andy Dalton.
Do you think they'll start Andy Dalton?
By their history.
That's not true. You know what?
Yes.
That's very predictable.
Oh, God.
Why would
They'll
hold on?
give him a few starts.
Andy Dalton's like the same thing as Flacco. Why
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The Broncos just aren't good with
John
this
Elway has to make a
sort of
change.
topic.
He has to. I mean, listen, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. He's been the GM now for years, and,
And
he
he doesn't
one.
know how to draft
ridiculous.
quarterbacks or even pick any up. But
Ridiculous.
then, so we got Marcus Mariota, who's replaced by Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill took advantage of his situation that he was
Well,
given.
you got. Don't forget about Ryan Tannehill back in 2016 against the Dolphins. He played well for the Dolphins that season. He got hurt obviously towards ACL, but I'm not as surprised as most people with Tannehill playing well.
Marcus Mariota, second overall draft pick in 2015. Jameis Winston was right above him.
What's sick?
He's been to the playoffs. He's been to 2 playoff games, both in 2017. He's 1-1. He's split with them. What about Marcus Mariota?
Man,
what do you think his future
I
holds?
think he's shot.
What's sick
Really?
is man, when we had Chip Kelly and everybody clamored to trade up and draft him.
I think Mariota. The thing with him is he doesn't really have accuracy, deep passes, and arm strength, but he also lost his running ability. I haven't seen him running as much.
I have a question for you guys. Marcus Mariota or Kaepernick? Who's better?
Oh, geez, that's a tough question. We haven't seen Kaepernick play in such a long
Option
time.
C.
Given what we
Other.
know about both players,
Option C.
who was better?
Man,
C.
If I had to pick, I'd say Mariota, just because he's been playing football in the NFL for
I would have to go Mariota. Only because, just like Max
If
said,
that
not
doesn't
confident.
matter, if that doesn't matter, if
Well, it does
Kaepernick's
matter.
still training,
It does matter.
I'm saying, if that does not matter, and Kaepernick is training and he's in shape still, who would be the quarterback that you would start?
I'm still taking Mariota.
yeah.
Option C.
Okay, Chris. So we should move it on to sports. And then he has when Marcus Mariota was benched, he had a 32.1% completion rate.
Yes, horrible.
Quarterback
pretty bad.
rating. Sorry.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that's horrible.
That's awful.
Here's a better question: would you rather have Andy Dalton or Marcus Mariota?
Ooh, Mariota. Oh,
Mariota.
gosh. That's the easy one.
Andy
Wait a
Dalton
second,
started off as a top quarterback this season
he's-
for the first at least 5 games.
But that's the problem. He's fell from grace, and that's the thing. Like there's times during the season where he's going to get inconsistent. They're both inconsistent quarterbacks, but Mariota's potential is still a whole lot more higher than Andy Dalton's is at this point.
Let's talk about Andy Dalton and his playoff performance. He's 0-4 in the playoffs. He lost them all.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's horrible.
I think when was the last time the Bengals were in the Super Bowl?
Oh, I
or at the
couldn't tell you.
playoffs?
The Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl?
Yeah, even farther.
Oh gosh.
What was that? 2014, maybe? I don't remember. It was a while ago, though. I'll tell you that.
I don't know. I'll ask Google.
I'm going to guess 2015, 2016.
Oh gosh.
I think they were in. Sounds. But anyway, he's the 35th overall pick in the 2011 draft. He's been to the Pro Bowl 3 times.
Surprising, in my opinion.
Does he get replaced by Tua? Is that what we talked about?
Definitely.
Or
Tua
one of
to
those
the Bengals?
One of those quarterbacks. coming
Bengals
out.
need a quarterback. They have AJ. Well, AJ Green's gonna be free agent, but Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon, Jonah Williams is going to be coming back their left tackle after that labrum surgery he had next season. So they'll get some upgrades at the offensive line. They really just need some defensive help and a quarterback. And again, they're right back up in a good. Now
Last
again,
time they were in the playoffs with 2014.
everybody needs a quarterback, but
No, 2015. They
The
played the
2014 season.
2014 season.
That was a game.
Sure,
wasn't
whatever.
That, wasn't that,
wait, 2014? I knew it. I said 2014.
Wild
season.
card game against the Steelers.
January
wasn't that the
4th.
game that AB got knocked out by Vontaze Burfict?
That might be. Actually.
No, they played
I don't think
the
so.
Colts.
I think that was a Monday Night Football game you're thinking.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
they played the Colts in the last. They lost 10-26.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That was a while ago.
Andy Dalton threw for 155 yards, 0 touchdowns.
That's bad.
That was in Indianapolis.
But
Their all-time playoff record is 5-14.
that's awful. In 2013, Andy Dalton threw for 334 yards and 1 touchdown with 2 interceptions. So
Against the Chargers.
What is going on back
so
there?
basically, long story short, he's going to retire.
Yeah, basically.
talking about retiring, is Eli Manning retiring?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah.
Locked
Yeah.
in. Locked
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
No,
You don't
definitely.
think there's one team out there that
Oh,
wants
there'll
it?
definitely be one team out there, I think. I don't think a
yeah.
Hall of Famer like Eli Manning's just going to go right off into the sunset, especially because he was a backup quarterback this season. No one wants to end this season as a backup quarterback.
With that, I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos contacted Eli.
He'll pull a
Manning.
Brett Favre and come back for a season like he did with the Vikings and the Jets.
Yeah, but the thing
Is
is,
he that kind of player?
I was
though,
about to say
to
that.
come back.
I was about to say the thing is, Brett Favre still had that cannon for an arm.
Eli Manning's not really
Manning's-
a tough player.
No,
We all know Eli Manning is shot, but again, if you're sitting there and you're Eli Manning and somebody calls you, you're definitely answering the phone. You're not going to go out in your Hall of Fame career as a backup to Daniel Jones.
If he's smart, yeah.
If he was going to retire or leave already, he would have done it already.
Listen, Eli Manning avoids contact like a phone without a SIM card. All right, that man does not take hits.
No one
period.
likes to get hit. T. What if I just came up to you and was just like, boom?
I mean,
You got a lot of
you're
similes
gonna
today,
you're
T.
gonna get hurt.
That's
I'm gonna be fine.
That's exactly what I'm saying. No one likes
sounds
to
like
get
a
hit.
challenge.
No one likes to get hit is the ultimate idea of this topic.
Yeah,
And
yeah, but to dive to the ground like 2 yards before anybody touches you.
Peyton was worse, man. Peyton dived down 20 yards. He'd be like, you know what? No.
That's also why he had a Hall of Fame. What?
All right,
Talking about a Hall of Fame career, Chris.
What?
And I was talking about how Russell Wilson could be MVP if Lamar Jackson stops playing the way he does. I think Lamar's a little ahead of Russ.
Yeah, I would
but
say
if
so.
Russ gets this MVP, does that make him a straight shot for the Hall of Fame eventually?
I mean,
Not a straight shot, but does that give him a Hall of Fame?
damn good chance.
Yeah, I was about to say
Yeah.
it increases his chances. I think if he adds,
Five-time Pro Bowler.
If
He's
he
missed
adds-
0 games, right? Is that right?
if he adds another ring to his repertoire, I think that would definitely.
He's got 1 Super Bowl already. Could have been 2 if Pete Carroll decides to run it with Marshawn Lynch.
I'll tell you
on
what.
2?
Now I'm thinking Seattle could go to the Super Bowl with the way they're playing. I mean, I said Saints in the preseason.
I mean, I did say Super Bowl predictions like 15
And they got a
minutes ago.
quarterback like Russell Wilson, who's been there. If he goes again, will be there 3 times. Correct? That'll
Yeah.
be his
Yeah,
third time in the
that'll be
Super
his
Bowl.
third Super Bowl.
He's
Super Bowl.
clutch.
Ridiculous.
Under pressure, it seems like he just doesn't know what pressure is. He makes smart decisions. He's a great quarterback. He can run too. He can really toss that ball.
I think
He's
what we
got
would
all
have to
these
do here
weapons.
is sit down, compare. I know a lot of it isn't, everything's about stats, but if we would have to pull up some other Hall of Fame quarterbacks and compare, numbers and
At
stats.
this point, we're just looking for someone to take down Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. That's the reality.
I think one of the 2 teams that can do that is the Seahawks. The other team being the 49ers.
I think the Seahawks are the best team in the NFC based on what I've seen in what are we 10 weeks in here?
Yeah.
And I tell you what, that rematch would be fun. I
agree.
think
Could you imagine
Seattle could have a
Super
legit
Bowl
shot.
of Seattle 49ers?
Well, Seattle
That'd
doesn't
be
have a
entertaining.
weak like Seattle doesn't have a
that
weakness.
can't happen.
if that was possible.
That can't
No,
happen.
AFC, NFC, yeah.
What, give me a weakness of the
Well,
Seahawks.
they're in the same division, so
Give me a
The
weakness of the Seahawks, right? T.
Wait, am I
What-
stupid?
what's the
I am
Seahawks
stupid.
weakness?
I
Do
am
they have a
stupid.
weakness?
Does the Seahawks have a weakness?
I want to clarify I'm stupid.
their defensive backs are still young, so you can kind of sort of take advantage of that. Run defense is average.
talking about the Seahawks.
Yeah.
they got the Griffin brothers who.
Yeah,
The Griffin brothers, they got Trey Flowers, they got Bobby Wagner, they got Jadeveon Clowney, one of the best pass rushers.
that's what I'm saying. Their pass
KJ.
defense is one of the top pass defenses in the NFL. But in terms of running, I think that's where you can take advantage of that.
Their run defense.
You can take you can take advantage of that defensive line's aggressiveness.
San Fran had a couple of big runs last night. Tevin Coleman, Matt Breida, but for the most part held in check. And I think that if Seattle can, stay healthy, they got to put themselves in a good position to get back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, let's talk some Sixers here for the
I am
last
an idiot.
10 minutes. I just want to touch on this real quick. Ben
I
Simmons,
can't believe I forgot that.
what happened?
No,
It's
my-
he said the Seahawks
My-
and the 49ers would be good Super Bowl. But, we all make mistakes.
I for some reason thought
Because that guy doesn't know
49ers
what the hell he's doing.
were in the AFC, but they're not.
You dumbass.
All right, last time we talked about the Sixers,
NFC Championship. Then, sorry, I keep interrupting you.
Go ahead. No, what was the conversation?
Get something off your chest, Chris.
No, I just said NFC Championship rematch. There you go.
Just.
All right, we know it's hard.
You know what? Shut up.
Tanner, take over.
The Sixers are 6-3. They beat the Hornets, which I'm not impressed with. They lost a tough game to the Nuggets.
They should have won.
We got ripped off. If you guys watched the game,
I received your text.
If you guys watched the game, we got ripped off.
I agree.
The Joker was pulling jokes on us. He was getting away with a lot of things that game.
Joaquin Phoenix was out there.
And
The reason we lost that Utah game was because of Ben Simmons' injury. I don't want to hear any, Utah's better than we are. No, they're not. And the reason we lost that Phoenix game is because Devin Booker just decided to score 40 points and his sleep. So, again, that 3 games right there was frustrating.
I'm going to be honest with y'all. I could care less about Ben Simmons being hurt or not.
Wow. That is just
No. I'm going to tell you what.
ridiculous statement.
Open that door and walk
Let
out.
me finish.
Open the door and walk out.
Let me finish. I'm not
Absolutely.
finished.
He said, hold on, we have Neto.
And Trey Burke.
I don't know anything about basketball. I know that's a moronic comment.
No, because you guys didn't let me finish. I said that I couldn't care less because of the simple fact that this team will only go as far as Ben Simmons will take us. But the problem is, if he does not, please, for the love of God, shoot from the doggone perimeter.
Okay.
Tanner, I don't want to hear a word out your mouth. I don't. Because all off season long, you were sending me pictures.
It's not necessary
and
right
video.
now.
We're still waiting for that free beer.
It is not necessary right now.
What you mean it's not necessary?
We don't need a Ben Simmons shot right now.
We need to be racking up these W's to get the 1 seed, T.
Yeah, that's my point. That is my exact point. Let's start putting some fear in these defenses, man.
We can't afford to be losing these games to opponents where we should be beating, especially that Nuggets game,
That's
which is
what
so
I'm saying.
frustrating.
We have to lose to a
beat the
team
Jazz,
called
too.
the Nuggets,
Yes.
Chris. We lost to a team called the
The
Nuggets.
chicken nuggets.
And all right,
Golden
listen,
Nuggets.
tonight we got the Cavs.
What's
Al
he here
Horford scheduled night off tonight, load management, so he won't be playing. Ben Simmons probably won't play, but he is questionable. And Shake Milton's also doubtful.
This
Not that it
sounds
makes
like
any
a
much of a
preseason
difference.
game right here.
Bunch of low lifes. Listen, we should still beat this team. We got Joel Embiid. Who is going to stop him?
Okay. We have Joe. Oh, it is the Cavs.
Exactly
to
my
be
point.
fair.
Yeah.
They do have Kevin Love still.
Yeah, old Kevin Love, like 34-year-old Kevin Love.
Tristan Thompson.
And I don't know about
Colin Sexton.
I'm just naming people on the team.
and I don't know about you guys, but I need Joel Embiid to kind of shut his mouth a little bit and play a little bit more. Like I don't need him
I
running
like
his
it.
mouth
It's great.
right now.
Represents Philly.
Okay,
I like it.
that's fine when you're actually performing, but when you start getting lazy and lackadaisical on the court, that's when I have a problem with your mouth.
Listen, we're going to be having this conversation in February, and we're going to be really into the Sixers. The Super Bowl is going to be behind us. And we're going to look back and say, man, you know what? If we won that Nuggets game, we could be ahead of the Celtics right now. And we'll be really passionate about
Celtics.
it. The Eagles are blinding us, T.
The
Eagles
Celtics are
blinding us.
down an important player for 6 weeks.
Yeah, Gordon Hayward, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's
Surgery.
crazy.
That might help us out.
Again? What happened this time?
I think his wrist.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's been out for a while.
Broken?
Fractured.
Fractured.
Yeah, it was fractured, which is crazy.
His wrist is not working. Well, yeah.
It's all about the flick of the wrist, too.
Oh my god.
All right, Chris. The moment you've been waiting for. Let's talk some Flyers. We got a couple minutes left
Okay,
here.
I just want to say something real quick.
Go
Taryn
ahead.
Hatcher. Look, Taryn Hatcher. I'm still single, but sometimes
Nobody cares about hockey, Max.
All right, T. Step outside. Step outside right now, T. Show's over for you.
yeah, you can leave.
All right,
You
Chris,
can-
what do you got?
I'm waiting for.
Come on,
No,
man. We're playing
no.
really well. We're like third in the East,
Okay,
and
no,
fourth in the
no,
East
yeah,
right
we're
now.
third in the East, and we're playing great. No, Taryn Hatcher is talking to Travis Konechny, who's been the best player on this team so far this year, and he's talking about, oh yeah, we played a great game, it's wrong, blah blah blah, and then it's like, did you know, Travis, that Flyers have not won in regulation in Boston since 2011, and the look on Travis Konechny's face was like, what? Like, why do I care?
It's funny to me.
Why do I care? I was 14 years old in 2011.
Yeah.
And he just goes, and to avoid saying something he would regret, he was just going to be like, he was just like, well, I didn't know that stat. I'm just like, Taryn, why would you say that to the best player
Travis
on the team?
Konechny's been great this season, but my MVP of the team so far has to be
Carter.
Carhart's been great too, but Couturier.
Sean Couturier's been
He's been amazing. The whole team's playing really well.
Get your facts.
What is up with all these shootouts and overtimes though?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Frustrating. We get a lead and then we give it up.
Yeah, 3 games in a row we've had 2-goal leads and gave them up and went into overtime.
Yeah,
and
regulation.
That's pretty bad.
But as long as we pull out the W's,
we got the W's. We got the W's. But we need to learn how to close out games.
Big game against Washington tomorrow night. You watching?
Yeah. Oh, of course.
You got work though, don't you?
No, I'll be home.
You're gonna be home tomorrow.
Yeah, because I work early. No, wait.
What's the problem now?
Oh my God, I'm off tomorrow.
How did you pull that off? 2 days in a row you have off?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's about damn time.
No, it's about damn time. That's right.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna be watching that Capitals game tomorrow night.
Phil Myers has easily become one of the best defensemen on this
team.
team.
How about that goal by Farabee? That little wrister up top shelf.
Dude, Farabee is bringing that number 49 to greatness, unlike Michael Layton did.
Yo,
Swiss cheese.
I'll tell you what, yeah. He was good for about 10 minutes.
How many times I got to tell you about saying the bites? We've went over this.
Relax. They're talking about the 10-5-2 Flyers. They're pretty excited right now.
Yeah, we are.
That's exactly right, because we haven't been 10-5-2 since like
2011.
2011, exactly.
This is their best start in almost in 8 years.
Oh, we're going to the playoffs this year.
Whoa. I think so. What? Dude, I think we can.
Keep playing like this. I tell you what.
Like you said, I mean, we might be exactly what you said last week, the Twins.
We got a lot of road games coming up, though.
Yeah, we do.
We just played 2, and then we come back home for this Washington game, but then we got a couple more. I know we got Ottawa on the road after that.
Yeah.
Florida's coming up on the road.
Ottawa should be a walk in the park. It should be.
Yeah, they're
Ottawa's pretty trash.
Ottawa is pretty trash.
Yeah, so that should be an easy.
I'm nervous.
Game.
I just want to keep winning. You know,
watch me jinx them.
Once we get on a win streak, you just want to keep winning. But again, this Washington team is great. Every year they're great.
I think we can make the playoffs this year, but I'm afraid we're going to do exactly what the Twins did.
And just get slaughtered by who? The Capitals, Islanders,
Penguins.
I don't know if the Penguins are that much better than we are. I mean, I know 7-1 when we played them, but
they beat us by a touchdown. Yeah, they're probably better than us.
Well, did Brian Elliott start that game?
Penguins are ranked
Carter Hart
overall.
Yes.
The Flyers 11th.
No,
this is serious.
No, the Flyers are above the Penguins.
Are they now?
Yeah.
They are.
Are you sure?
Yeah, they're above the Penguins.
Yeah, they're above the Penguins in the standings. Quit yucking
this was
my yum.
23 hours ago. This ranking was 23 hours
Yeah,
ago.
well, you're outdated.
Yeah.
One game.
You are outdated.
You dumbass.
All right, Chris, let's shut it down.
Hey, well, I can't shut it down until T does some magic tricks.
What magic tricks, man? Stop just letting stuff go to sleep. Anyway.
Okay, Carhart's the best athlete in Philadelphia. Prove me wrong.
All right.
Just not true. Because you know who I'm going to say the best athlete is.
Jordan Howard. No.
What?
If you know me, you know who my favorite player in all of Philly is.
Aaron Altair.
Bryce Harper,
it's
buddy.
Bryce Harper. I know. It's Bryce Harper.
I'm going to go with this.
And you know what? Bryce Harper is great.
All right, y'all. Y'all missed any of this episode, you can always go to philly-experience.simplecast.com. We are available on all major platforms: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and more. Thank you for finally turning down the freaking volume.
Volume? Gee, college volume?
All right, everybody. Philly Experience Podcast every Tuesday, 8 to 9.
Yeah.
We was catching him. Unlike Aguilar and his mishaps. I like to put that out there.
He needs to learn how to wrap that thing up.
Pull your head out of your ass.
I am pissed off.
Ooh, yeah.
I want to see people rip their heart out of their f***ing chest.
Boots to asses.